This is the NASCAR Wise Power 400. Geoff has become a NASCAR expert.
Actually, when did this happen? I was out when this happened.
Yeah, you're always out. You were on your 3-week baby moon. So Geoff actually handed out some pretty good Daytona 500 picks last week. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give him some credit here. Pearce even gave him credit himself, and you know Pearce doesn't like to give anybody credit because he's miserable. But Pearce, let's set the stage here. Give us a little bit of a DFS strategy and course breakdown for this weekend's race.
That was the best opener. That was great.
Thanks, sorry, Pearce.
I really appreciate that. It's awesome. So the strategy this week, we are changing the racing package to a low downforce, high horsepower package that they haven't used in a couple years. So you might want to go back and look at some Fontana history from 2016 or 2018. Maybe even look at last year's Nashville race. There's going to be practice again, so you can look at the practice data over the weekend to help you make your picks. And then the last thing to keep your eye on is they've got a new practice and qualifying format, and there's a good chance that the cars, some drivers are not going to qualify well because what you race in is what you qualify in. So maybe your car's not fast for one lap, but you set your car up to run well in traffic or to run well on the long run. That means you're going to get some really good cars starting in the back. So think about rostering some of the guys in the back for place differential upside.
All right, with that in mind, Geoff, and with Pearce on Monday telling us this is Kyle Larson's race to lose, who's a DFS play, Geoff, that you like for the top price guys over 9K?
Kyle Larson's race to lose. I mean, I don't know. That sounds a little bit overconfident to me. There's a cluster of guys, Jesse, that I'm really all over in this race car driving race that is going to be happening this week. My favorite, though, I had to lean with Ryan Blaney at $10,000. I mean, I've pulled up some serious stats on this dude. He led the second most laps here in 2020. There was only, there was some kind of like tire malfunction, and he pushed it back to like 19th. This dude was right up there. This is just like in golf when you're coming to the last hole, and the dude's played well all week, and then he hits like 4 balls in the water, and he just skews his stats. Ryan Blaney, very, very strong performance in 2020 at this event. He's pushing the pedals well. He was 4th at Daytona as well. We have recent form. We have course form. $10,000. There's your play. And we'll get to the best bets at the end, but he might sneak in there too. So.
All right, Pearce, who are you going with for top price guys over 9K?
I'm going to stick with Kyle Larson.
Good.
I'll also talk about Martin Truex and Kyle Busch later on. But to talk about that Ryan Blaney thing, yeah, he quartered a tire late in the race, and this is a track that chews up tires, so it's not really an outlier for that to happen. But it was tough because he did run 90% of the laps inside the top 5, led the second most, like Geoff said. But the issue that I would have with Ryan Blaney is that was in a different package. That was a high downforce package that suits Blaney's driving style, where there's not very much off throttle time. He likes those full throttle, flat out speed tracks, and he's done well at those in the intermediate tracks. This is going to be a different beast possibly, so I would want to see what he does in practice. If he hesitates, there's a little slower in practice, then I would be off Blaney.
All right, let's find out the next Austin Cindric, who just won the Daytona 500, or Bubba Wallace, who, again, was a great bet that Geoff hooked us up with. So who could finish near the top and under $8,000 in DFS? So Cindric, 7,600. Pearce, I see it in your article here on DK Nation. You got him in there. Bubba Wallace, $7,000, or someone else for value. I'm seeing a few other value pieces in your piece.
Yeah, I'm going to go down to the bottom and go with Cole Custer at $5,900. This is a misprice for me. Stewart-Haas Racing is a top-tier team. They never should have a driver price below $6,000. I know Custer has struggled over the last couple seasons, but that's a different racing package. We're going to go to a low downforce, high horsepower car, similar to what he raced in the Xfinity Series, where he was a championship contender, won multiple races with his current crew chief, Mike Shiplett, who also is good at setting up low downforce cars. But the real kicker is that Cole Custer is running double duty this weekend. He's going to do the Xfinity race. He'll run through all the Xfinity practice. He's going to be able to get a lot of reps, collect a lot of data. And the Xfinity car and the Cup car are not too far apart anymore. In previous seasons, you really couldn't learn much going into the Xfinity Series. But I think there's going to be valuable data to gain. And at $5,900, he's just too cheap.
Geoff, you got some value picks for us, dude?
I mean, the Cole Custer pick is brilliant by Pearce. I mean, he was spiking in my model as well. But I'm gonna go with Eric Almirola.
Yeah.
And this dude is so confident in his name that he spells Eric with an A. I love that about him. He was 6th and 5th in his last 2 races. He's got great Wise Power 400 form too, Emerson. 12th, 9th, and 10th here. That's the kind of solid driving I like from my drivers when I'm going under 8K in salary on the NASCAR circuit. Look, the DraftKings Sportsbook. We all need some picks here, to just like the Bubba Wallace pick from last week, plus 240 for
Yeah.
Eric with an A, Amarilla, to finish in the top 10. Value alert, double A for the top 10 this week at 7,400. You got to get him in your lineup.
I love that. What a segue, too, because, I mean, we want to take everyone to the DK Sportsbook
We
now,
do.
right?
Over on the Sportsbook, we got race specials. Wow, this is great. Bets like all Hendricks cars to finish in at the top 10 plus 350. Brad Keselowski to exact his revenge and finish ahead of all Team Penske cars at plus 500. So, like, what's a weekly special that you like this week, Geoff?
So, I mean, I couldn't really get behind a lot of them, if I'm being dead honest. I mean, Pearce is probably going to come up with some galaxy brain, like these guys are all downforce drivers who like are good in outer space or something. But I am going with the big value here at plus 1,300. Austin Cindric and my boy Ryan Blaney to both finish in the top 5 of this event. It's plus 1,300. Ryan Blaney's winning because that's my pick. I'm just gonna. It's like a reveal. Sorry, spoiler alert. But I mean, Austin Cindric, this dude just won the Daytona 500. He's gonna come in here against all these scrubs and just be like, yeah, I can finish top 5 again. I think plus 1,300 seems like good value. Blaney was, like we said, was in the top 5 of this race last year until he, his tire ran over a nail or whatever. So I think this is good value. I mean, Blaney seems like a very legitimate top 5 play, and Cindric racing obviously with a ton of confidence. I mean, plus 1,300, Pearce, you can definitely look. You tell me if this is bad. I'm due for at least one bad bet here, so you tell me if it's terrible. But I really couldn't find anything else I liked from these specials.
Yeah, Pearce, tell him if it's terrible, and then Galaxy brain us with your pick.
It isn't terrible. If we get a short run at the end of this race, then Cindric can sneak in there. I'm probably not going to go there. And you're right. A lot of these specials, I don't like any of them. But there was one that did stand out to me, plus 550 to get Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Busch all to finish inside the top 5. I think that's pretty likely. I like that bet a lot. I'll talk about Truex and Larson some more here in a bit. But if we focus on Kyle Busch, this is a racetrack where he has succeeded in the past. We know that he's been clamoring for practice to return. And with this new low downforce package, which means the car's not held down to the ground very much, so you kind of have to let off the gas a little bit in order to get the car to turn. Now, the more that you let off the gas, the slower you go. So you don't want to let off that much. So the people that can maximize their on-throttle time or minimize their off-throttle time in this package are going to succeed. And that's what Kyle Busch does. He's the best at driving in further and getting back on the throttle sooner. That wasn't really a skill in the old package in 2019 and 2020 because they were just running flat-footed through the turns. Now you have to drive a little bit more. It's more in the driver's hands, and Kyle Busch is the guy to get that job done.
Well, Pearce, over in the driver prop section, too, group winners. These are some of the guys you've mentioned. You said you were going to talk about later, so maybe you'll talk about them now. Group B, where the 2020 winner, Alex Bowman, plus 280, to best Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex, and William Byron. So who do you like in this group?
It's Martin Truex in this group. I know Bowman won the last race, but again, that's a different package. We're going to have a low downforce package. And the last time they raced this similar style at Fontana, Truex won in 2018. He led over 100 laps. Nobody has been better in low downforce, high horsepower racing over the last 5 seasons than Martin Truex Jr. He's been the best. He consistently gets it done. I think he's going to come in here and have another great race. And I think this one's a misgrouping as well.
All right, Geoff, what stands out to you in this group? Give me someone who's rock solid with the low down, high horsepower racing.
I mean, I almost made Martin Truex Jr. my pick, and him and Ryan Blaney are the same price. I can't really find. I don't think there's really good value in this group because Alex Bowman was another guy I was considering. I like going to Group D and just taking Kurt Busch at plus 240. This dude seems like has a very legitimate shot at a top 10. I mean, I know Pearce was going on about this is like the Busch race or whatever. This is just where they always pop up. They do always seem to pop up. And these guys he's going against seem like very just big long shots to do much this week. I think Kurt Busch in Group D is the play at plus 240. I mean, I'll let Pearce respond if this is terrible, but to me, I just don't really like that Group B one for picking because it feels like you're going up against like 3 strong drivers there. I'd rather go to Group D with Kurt Busch.
All right.
This is it.
Who's your bet to win this thing?
The
Geoff, we know.
Wise Power 400.
Geoff, we know that you're going with Ryan Blaney, but just tell us why.
I'm going with Ryan Blaney for all the reasons I let out. This guy's got he's got recent form. He's got the course history. It's just like when you get a golfer on one of those like golf courses that have really narrow fairways and he hits all the fairways. Ryan Blaney hits all the fairways at this Wise Power 400, wherever they're having it. And I also like Eric Almirola, top 10. I think this guy's got a very, very good shot of paying off. Plus 240 seems like a bit of a misprice. And I'm going deep. I'm going to the Production Alliance 300 for a pick as well on the Xfinity race. Sheldon Creed at plus 2,000. Yeah. Try
Wow.
and match that, Pearce.
All right, Galaxy Brain Pearce, hit us with your pick to win.
No, I'm going Chalk Brain here. And Chalk Brain worked pretty well last season if you were doing NASCAR picks. Take Kyle Larson. You don't really need to overthink this. He is the greatest North American racer of the 21st century. There is no doubt about it. And the guy got banned from NASCAR in 2020. He came back the next season with a brand new team, and he wins 11 races. That's unheard of. That's unprecedented. That's like in the NFL, a rookie quarterback joining a team. They win 14 games and the Super Bowl. It is remarkable. And that's just season one. What would that rookie do in season 2 and season 3? Well, this is season 2 of the Kyle Larson experience. He won here in 2017, led 100 laps, has 2 other second-place finishes, has multiple wins in the Xfinity Series at this track. This track suits him. It suits his crew chief. I mean, everything lines up for him. You got to take the chalk here.
Kyle Larson is apparently the Ben Roethlisberger of NASCAR.